Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Skills and Abilities. Today we're going to be looking at an assassin ability known as Fade. Up until recently, Fade had a secret hidden that most people had only known existed if they were told, and recently the tooltip was updated to include that in the effects. Now, Fade raises all resistances and resist curses for a certain period of time. It doesn't cost very much mana, and it does actually last quite a long time once you have it maxed out. At level 1, it doesn't do a tremendous amount. It does a curse reduction of 47%. It does a resist all of 19%, and it offers a duration of 120 seconds. It also had a hidden effect, which is now shown, of physical resistance of 1% per level, up to whatever level you can get it to. Of course, at level 1, it was only at 1%. And as you increase, you'll notice that it goes to damage reduced by 5% at my current level 5. It is a very, very amazing ability that also turns your character slightly invisible. Ethereal, as it were, like you're kind of fading out of existence. Now, I do kind of like the original version. I think a little bit better because there's this creepy, like you can see your face through your helmet kind of thing going on with the with the new version. But all in all, it is a very, very amazing ability, which can provide you with a pretty massive bump in your defensive capability. And as you build it up, as you make it stronger, you will definitely notice a difference in how the skill works. So let's take a look really quickly at some of the way that this skill works. So right now, you'll notice that we're at the 5% damage reduction, 42% resist all, 65% curse reduction. And if we put our max points in there, you'll notice it goes all the way up to a 24% damage reduction, a physical damage reduction, 84% curse reduction duration, and we also get a massive 67 to all resistances with a duration of 396 seconds. 396 seconds divided by 60 is 6.6 seconds, or sorry, 6.6 minutes. So not bad. Almost 7 minutes for the duration there. And of course, it might get a little bit higher if you had some more plus to skills. Certainly couldn't hurt. And the physical damage reduction on this ability is absolutely amazing. In fact, there is a lot of things about this ability that are absolutely amazing. The max resistances, the 67% resistances on here is great. The cursed reduction is absolutely amazing. Believe it or not, there's a lot of curses in the game, and especially in hell difficulty, the duration of those curses can be exceedingly long, and having a curse duration reduction can definitely be handy. It is important to note, however, that shrines, beneficial shrines, like the ones that give you infinite stamina, plus the skills, experience shrines, are also affected by the duration reduction. Because apparently curses and the shrines are essentially the same category. So there is a downside to the silver cloud here. And that is basically that the reduced curse duration does, in fact, also reduce the duration of shrines. Now, there are some items in the game that actually do give Fade as a proc, a chance to proc. And one of those items is known as Treachery, and it is a body piece. Treachery offers a % chance to cast, I believe it's level 15 Fade. And it is a very easy to make item. It is one of those items that people love to make because it is only Shale Thal Lem, Lem being the most expensive rune in the rune word. And it will give you a very nice level 15 Fade when struck. Now, of course, at level 15, we are going to get a different version than, of course, our massive, absolutely massive level 24 Fade. And at level 15, if you were to use Treachery, level 15 is 79% curse duration reduction, 60% all resistances, a duration of 288 seconds, which when divided by 60 is going to give us a duration of about 4.8 minutes, which is roughly about 5 minutes, and also a physical damage reduction of 15%. So all in all, the treachery proc is actually pretty good. There is one other item in the game besides treachery, which will give you a fade proc. Or sorry, two other items in the game. I'm miscounting. One of them is Last Wish. Last Wish will give you a treachery proc. And there is also a shield, believe it or not, which will give you treachery proc. I believe it is the ward, the unique ward shield. And the unique ward shield has a proc. I'm pretty sure it's wind struck of, I want to say, God, what is the exact amount of that? It is, I want to say it's level 8 or something like that. Pretty sure it's like level 8. Let me look this up real quick here. Yes, 5% chance to cast level 8 Fade Windstruck. And of course, level 8 is going to be a different version than either of the ones that we've talked about before. Level 8 is a 71% curse reduction with 50% to all resistances, with a duration of 204, and a physical damage reduction of course, 8%, because it is 1% per level. So very, very interesting that you can get the the Fade proc from a large number of sources. Now, it is also important to talk about Fade in retrospect to other abilities that Assassin has. So Fade is an extremely defensive ability and may not be the one that you would specifically want to choose. And you may want to choose Burst of Speed. Well, the problem is that Fade and Burst of Speed overwrite each other. You cannot have both up at the same time. So if I zoom into my character here and I go ahead and I cast Fade, you will notice that if I cast Burst of Speed, the Fade disappears and I come back into reality. And I get the sort of white effect under my feet. And if I cast Fade, I get the yellow effect under my feet and I go back into the same ethereal form. Now, there are quite a few things that Fade is useful for. Fade can be used on a multitude of characters to protect them against a very large amount of elemental damage. If you are for instance, a paladin, a barbarian, an assassin, a necromancer, I mean, honestly, every single character in the game can get good use out of Fade. In Uber Tristram, Mephisto has level 25 Conviction, which is a reduction of negative 150% to all of your resistances. It's massive. And of course, he tallies that up really nicely with some lightning damage of his own to take advantage of the negative resistances. And one of the main uses of Fade, specifically from the Treachery armor, is to utilize the proc to get yourself the massive amount of resistances, then take off the armor and put on something else, which will help you kill Mephisto. You can also utilize this to great effect on mercenaries. Treachery is a very, very good armor that can be utilized on mercenaries, specifically because of the Fade effect. The massive amount of resistances combined with the physical damage reduction definitely is a very, very useful ability on just about any character. Fade can also be used as a stopgap measure for assassins or just about any character to help fix resistances for a little while until you can manage to get the appropriate equipment. It's one of the interesting things about this ability is that it doesn't necessarily have to be the end game goal. You might not necessarily be wanting to use Fade on a regular basis. You might not even be relying on Fade to help keep you alive, but it is one of those things that can be there to help you level up as you go forward. And it's definitely a very nice one. I do think that some assassins tend to use Burst of Speed over Fade because Burst of Speed does in fact help their trap casting speed, and Fade does not. Fade being an extremely defensive mechanic does tend to kind of go to the wayside for those characters who are more of an offensive playstyle. I have actually utilized Fade on a Shadow Disciplines assassin, which is a very interesting choice of mine. Basically, I built a Blade Fury assassin who utilizes Blade Fury to apply Crushing Blow and Open Wounds, and essentially put the majority of my points into the Shadow Discipline tree. Because as you can see, there's really not a lot of Blade Fury skills to build. And it worked out very interestingly because I had max level Fade with a very, very tanky character. I didn't have to worry about resistances so much. And of course, I also had the very nice physical damage reduction along with the other nice effects. There's really not a lot more to say about Fade. Fade is amazing. If you are a character who needs resistances, it is good for you. If you want to get the Treachery to proc the armor, I would definitely recommend it. Having the Treachery just for the proc effect is certainly very, very useful. And I don't think you're going to get your hands on a Lashed Wish, but you might get your hands on a Spirit Ward Shield, which is an interesting shield specifically for the Fade proc. And let me know what you think about Fade. Do you prefer Burst of Speed over Fade, or have you built specifically a massive physical damage reduction Fade assassin? Let me know down in the comments. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when I am fading out of existence. And as always, keep watching.